Okay, for this we're going to focus on the coordinate plane and graphing equations that have only one variable. So we actually have two different success criteria or learning goals that we're going to focus on. One is knowing how to plot points and lines in the coordinate plane, and then the other one is knowing how to graph a linear equation in one variable. That means there's only x or y involved. So let's start. The first thing is we have to go over the coordinate plane. So let's make sure we know all of the parts of the coordinate plane. The coordinate plane is made up of the x-axis and the y-axis. So you can see that I've got the x-axis in blue here, and the x-axis travels horizontally, and you can see that I have the y-axis drawn in red. The y-axis travels vertically. The points on a graph are called coordinate points. So like right here, right here, right here, all three of these guys are points or coordinate points. And the quadrants that we have in a graph are always listed in a counterclockwise direction. So you want to draw these into your graph. Quadrant number 1 is here in the upper right-hand portion of your graph. And then we go counterclockwise to name the rest of them. So quadrant 2 is here. Quadrant 3 is down here in the lower left, and quadrant 4 is down here in the lower right. Hopefully this is review to you guys, but if it's not, make sure you get this written down and you know how to, which is the x and y axis, and how to name all your quadrants. Okay? So, hopefully another little piece of review. When we write coordinate points, or the coordinates that help us tell the location of the point, they're always written in the form x, y. The x coordinate always comes first. That tells me how far to go in the x direction, or how far to go left or right. The second coordinate gives me the y value, or how far to go in the y direction, or how far to go up and down. If we're looking at a graph, don't forget the origin is the point 0, 0. So I haven't traveled left or right any, I haven't traveled up or down any. So this point right here is called the origin. Okay? Now let's graph a couple of points, several points. We're going to plot each of these. So A is at the point 2, 3. Now notice that both of these numbers are positive. So this is the positive x direction. This is the negative x direction, just like on a number line. This is the positive y direction going up, and this is the negative y direction going down. So both of these are positive, so this tells me to move 2 in the x direction, and then from there I'm going to move 3 up in the y direction, so this would be my point, and then I would label that point A. To do point B, my x value is negative and my y value is positive. So that tells me that I'm going to go to the left one, but still up 4. So left 1 and up 4 gives me that point right there, B. C is positive and then negative, so that's telling me I'm going to go to the right and then down. So I'm going to go to the right 3 and down 5. And that's going to give me point C. The point negative 4, negative 1, they're both negative, so I'm going to go to the left and then I'm going to go down. So I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and down 1, and that gives me point D. Now the last two are a little bit different because they have zeros in them. So if I want to go to the point 0, 2, that means I'm not moving at all in the x direction. I'm only moving up 2. So I don't move left or right any, I simply move up 2, and that would be the point E. For F, I'm not moving up or down any, I'm only moving to the left or right, and in this case I'm moving to the left 3 because it's negative. The point F would be right here, right on the x-axis. Okay. So now let's talk about graphing horizontal and vertical lines. Oh, I totally reversed these. This is so funny. My names are in the wrong spot. I'm going to write that down. There we go. Horizontal and vertical lines. Now write this down. My vertical lines are the lines that go up and down, and my horizontal lines are the lines that go left and right. A vertical line will always have the basic format of x equals a, where a is just a number. It could be any number. And the same with my horizontal lines. Y equals b. B is just a number. Okay, we're just using this as a general guide for how to write the equation of those lines. So this is why we say that this equation is in one variable. My equation has only x or only y in it. So let's look at these two examples. With a vertical line, the x-coordinate stays the same, but the y-coordinate can change everywhere. So if we look at this line, like for example that point right there is the point 3, 0. If we look at this point right here, that's the point 3, 3. Up here, that's 3, 5. We could even go down here, and that's the point 3, negative 4. So notice in every single one of these points, my x-coordinate is 3, but my y-coordinates are all changing. If we go over here and look at this horizontal line, it's very similar, but the reverse is true. My x-coordinates are changing, but my y-coordinates are staying the same. So this is the point 5, 2. Here's the point 2, 2. Let's see, here's the point 0, 2. Here's the point negative 4, 2. You can see that the x-coordinates are changing, but the y-coordinates are all staying negative 2. So the equation of this line would actually be, not negative 2, what am I thinking? Y equals positive 2. The equation would be y equals 2. The equation of this line over here would be x equals 3. So we're saying I don't care what y is as long as the x-coordinate is 3 for the first line. For the line y equals 2, you're saying I don't care what the x-coordinate is as long as the y-coordinate is always 2. Alright, so let's do a couple of examples. Let's graph the equation. If I want to graph the line x equals 8, then for every coordinate, what I'm saying is that the x-coordinate must be 8, but the y-coordinate could be anything. So that means I'm looking at my x-axis, and I'm going to 8 on the x-axis. And then what I'm going to do is graph a vertical line at 8. And I might even make that line blue or something. Right, so we can see it. And that's the equation of the line x equals 8. Now what often confuses people with graphing these horizontal and vertical lines is that the x-axis is horizontal, but the line x equals 8 is vertical, which can be confusing because they go in different directions. So what I always say is go to that axis, go to the x-axis and find the point 8, and then you want to draw the line that goes through that. The only line that can go through that is going to be vertical. So let's look at one other example here. Let's graph the line y equals negative 2. So again, for any coordinate xy, the y-coordinate has to be negative 2, but the x-coordinate could be anything. So if I just plotted a few points that all had a y-coordinate of negative 2, that can be really helpful for seeing what the line is going to look like. We go down to negative 2 on the y-axis, and then we're going to graph our line there. Okay? And maybe we even make it red. There we go. And so that's the equation, y equals negative 2. Alright, so what if I give you a line and I say what's the equation? Great little strategy here is to write 2 or 3 coordinates. Find 2 or 3 points on the line and write their coordinate. So this one was back 3 and up 4, so that coordinate would be negative 3, 4. Right here, that was back 3 and up 1, so that's negative 3, 1. This one is back 3 and down 2, so that's negative 3, negative 2. You can already see which value is never changing. The x value is never changing, so that means this equation has to be x equals negative 3. Piece of cake. Alright, so you've got to talk about 2 things in your summary. You've got to talk about the coordinate plane, and its parts. And then you also have to talk about graphing equations with one variable. How do you tell the difference between a horizontal line and a vertical line, and how do you graph them? Piece of cake.